Well, today I want to talk with you a little bit about this idea of desire and what God desires from us. You know, and I kind of alluded to it in some of the songs that we were singing and in the prayer in between that, we really need to remember and understand that God puts a lot of focus on our intent and on our heart. And He puts a lot of focus on the motivation behind why we do what we do. And I think that that's something that is so true. And sometimes when you read in Scripture, you can see things that might seem contradictory, and they may not seem to make sense, but when you look at them a little deeper, they absolutely do. And so I want to start out by reading with you from Hosea chapter 6. We're going to be there and also in Samuel today. So if you'd like to follow along with me, we'll go to Hosea. For those that aren't familiar, that's Old Testament right after the book of Daniel. And it's Hosea chapter 6. And we're going to look at verse 6 to kind of set the tone for us today. And this is one of those verses that could seem like it's contradicting itself, and yet it's not, in essence. So Hosea 6:6 tells us this: "For I desire mercy, not sacrifice, and acknowledgement of God rather than burnt offerings." Now, let me start by saying this. If you're not familiar with what the process of burnt offerings was or what that even alludes to, let me just give you a brief understanding of that. In the Old Testament, a way that individuals would either, part of their repentance of sin, part of their honoring of God was done through burnt offerings and sacrifices. And they would, the law required them to bring different types of offerings and different types of sacrifices at different times, and they would give these sacrifices, and they would be done to honor God. They would be done as a way to possibly repent for a sin or just to get right with God. And so that was very, very real at that time. And you would think on the surface, when you look at that and go, well, wait a minute, if I'm bringing some type of offering to God, wouldn't He want to accept that? Right? I mean, that would be a logical question to ask. And Scripture is saying, though, here in Hosea 6:6, it's telling us something different. It's saying, I desire mercy, not sacrifice, and acknowledgement of God rather than burnt offerings. So initially you could look at that and say, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Well, here's what God's getting at. Here's what the Word is getting at here. First of all, we need to understand that this word mercy that is used there in verse 6 is the Hebrew hesed. I hope I say that correctly. And here's some meanings of what that could be. First of all, it could mean right conduct towards one's neighbor. It could mean loyalty to God or to the Lord. It can mean both, and it can actually mean love. So if you were to replace that word mercy with some of these, you would look and you could say something like, "For I desire right conduct towards one another. For I desire loyalty to the Lord. For I desire loyalty to the Lord and right conduct towards one another. For I desire love. I desire love and loyalty to the Lord and right conduct towards one another." So you can put all those words in there, and you begin to get a deeper understanding that His desire is for love and action and loyalty and commitment to God. Now, that's relevant for right now, isn't it? How many of you have seen, maybe you haven't, but I know at least on my Facebook feed, from my Facebook friends, from people that have responded to the election on Facebook. Has anyone else seen just an uproar from people? It doesn't matter which way it is, doesn't matter which way it went. I mean, it has just been insane to see the uproar that exists now because of what has happened, right? And again, we talked about this last week, and I'm not putting out there about anything I'm not going to ask who you voted for or nothing. But what I am going to say to you is what I said to you last week again, is that right now, in our country, as believers, we had better make sure that we are treating our neighbors and the other people around us with the love of Christ. Period. I don't care if you wanted Trump to win or if you wanted Hillary to win or if you wanted someone else to win. You still need to be showing the love of God towards the people around us. And that's what this is in essence getting at. It's God saying, I want you to have a right relationship and commitment to me And I want you to have a right relationship to those around you. And I want you to be showing love. And I desire that more than I desire sacrifice. And I desire that more than I desire burnt offerings. Does that help put it in perspective a little bit? God wants what should be on the inside of our hearts. God desires love. God desires us to be following Him and trying to have a loyalty to Him and a right conduct towards one another and a love that exists. And he goes on and he says, not the sacrifice. And when you do a little digging and you look, what he's talking about is he doesn't want a sacrifice that is apart from faithfulness to the Lord's will. That's what he's not interested in. He doesn't want a sacrifice that is just a sacrifice for the sake of sacrifice. Can I say it like that? So let me put it in layman's terms to make sure we understand in practical life what this looks like, okay? If you woke up this morning and came to church because you've come to church every day for the last 50 years and that's the only reason you showed up here today, God's not real happy about that. Can I just tell you that? That's not why you should show up to church today, okay? That's not why. If you pray before every meal and pray before your kids go to bed with your kids just because, well, that's what I was brought up doing, so I should. God's not real happy about that. Because you're doing it out of blind tradition. You're doing it blindly following, okay? You're doing it for the wrong reasons. But if you showed up to church today going, man, my week is really stunk, and yet I still see God in it. I can't wait to get there and worship Him. Yeah, that's awesome. That's what God desires. If you show up or if you go home and you get with your kids and you're sitting at dinner or you're sitting at lunch and you say, you know what, we need to stop and pray because church was awesome today. So-and-so treated me so kindly today. Listen to what so-and-so did for me to bless me today. Let's just stop and thank God for a minute. That's what God desires. That's what He wants. But it's a matter of looking at the heart first and foremost. Is looking at the heart. That's the type of sacrifice that He wants. But He doesn't want a sacrifice that's happening apart from faithfulness to the Lord's will. He wants an acknowledgement of God rather than burnt offering and an active acknowledgement of a covenant partner. There needs to be that knowledge and understanding that I am doing this. I am doing what I'm doing because of who God is in my life and because of how I'm trying to interact with Him and how much I love Him and care for Him. Does that make sense? It's not about, I'm just going to blindly do. It's not about, I'm just going to blindly follow. I mean, I'm a victim of that, though. I so much am. I've shared with you guys before. I grew up going to church. I knew the stories. The teachers would go to my parents and, oh my gosh, Tim knows everything in the stories that we're talking about. Oh, it's so wonderful. And you know what I did when I got to be a teenager? I said, you know, there's some other cool stuff happening that I think I want to be involved in instead of that church stuff. I still went to church, but I didn't actively pursue it like I could have. Because my heart wasn't there. My heart was with other stuff. My heart was with things that I thought were more important to me. And that's where my heart was. And I would sit at youth retreats feeling goosebumps up and down my arms, knowing God saying, would you get up and just make a commitment to me? And I would go, no. This is more important, God. What I'm going to do is more important. And I'd sit there. Do you know how hard that is sometimes? Have you ever tried to resist the Holy Spirit in that way? Maybe I'm the only one, but I would sit there and I would be sitting in my chair and my head is buried in my hands. And every part of me, I literally felt like I had someone pushing me from behind. Literally could feel like, get up. And no, get up. And I wouldn't. But I'm telling you right now, as soon as I got right with God, and as soon as it became real, man, you can't stop me from wanting to be here and worship. You can't stop me from wanting to do this. Even when I'm angry or I'm upset, I'm okay to still worship. And it may start as worship that is like, God, would you help me to get beyond this? You got to help get my mind right first. And then I come to Him in a more praiseworthy tone. But I'm always trying to look to God to receive what He has. And I'm always wanting to go to Him. And if you don't have that relationship with Him, there's part of it missing, guys. If you're just going and you're just showing up here and coming, and you're only coming just to come, we're glad you're here. We love you. But I can tell you that it'll get better if you start getting more passionate about your relationship with God. And then it's even more fun. Because when I stand up here, leading worship and watching, I love seeing the joy that people have when they're worshiping God. I love that. So there's more that you can have. Let me take you now, let's go back to 1 Samuel. So go back towards the front of your Bible, to 1 Samuel chapter 15. And I want to give you an example in Scripture of exactly what this looks like. Of exactly what this looks like. So in 1 Samuel 15, we're going to see a story unfold about Saul being rejected as king. Now, I've broken it down for you here in your outline, a few verses at a time. So let's first look at verses 1 through 3. So we see there in chapter 15 of 1 Samuel. Samuel said to Saul, I am the one the Lord sent to anoint you king over his people Israel. So listen now to the message from the Lord. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will punish the Amalekites for what they did to Israel when they waylaid them as they came from Egypt. Now go, attack the Amalekites and totally destroy everything that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. So let's stop there for a minute. Do we see God's instructions? So what are the instructions? They are to go and to attack the Amalekites, right? And what are they supposed to do to everything? Destroy it, right? Destroy it all, okay? And in fact, it sounds a little harsh, doesn't it? Don't spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. So there's our instructions, okay? There's the instructions that Saul has been given through Samuel. So, jump down to verse 7 with me. Verse 7 now, we see Saul's actions. Then Saul attacked the Amalekites all the way from Havilah to Shur, to the east of Egypt. He took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive, and all his people he totally destroyed with the sword. Now you ready for this? Verse 9. But Saul and the army spared Agag and the best of the sheep and cattle, the fat calves and lambs, everything that was good. These they were unwilling to destroy completely, but everything that was despised and weak they totally destroyed. So what did Saul do? He went in, he attacked, but he took the king alive, right? Didn't destroy him, didn't kill him, kept all the good stuff for themselves, right? They took the bad stuff and they got rid of that, no problem. Everything that was despised, they got rid of. But all the good stuff they kept for themselves, right? It'd be tempting, wouldn't it? But those weren't his instructions, were they? So now, let's fast forward a little bit more and let's look at God's reaction now. Verse 10. Then the word of the Lord came to Samuel. I am grieved that I have made Saul king, because he has turned away from me and has not carried out my instructions. Samuel was troubled, and he cried out to the Lord all that night. So we actually see the words that are used are that the Lord was grieved that he had made Saul king, because he has turned away from me and has not carried out the instructions and what he was supposed to do. So now Samuel begins to challenge Saul. Go to verse 14 with me. Samuel says to him, but Samuel said, what then is this bleating of sheep in my ears? What is this lowing of cattle that I hear? So Samuel goes and confronts Saul about it, and he starts to ask, if you did everything the Lord said, then what am I hearing in the background? Right? If you did everything you were supposed to, what is that noise? I'm hearing something. And Saul answers in verse 15. The soldiers brought them from the Amalekites. They spared the best of the sheep and cattle to sacrifice to the Lord your God, but we totally destroyed the rest. And look at verse 16. Samuel challenges him once again. Stop, Samuel said to Saul. Let me tell you what the Lord said to me last night. And now 17. Samuel said, although you were once small in your own eyes, did you not become the head of the tribes of Israel? And he sent you on a mission, saying, go and completely destroy those wicked people, the Amalekites. Make war on them until you have wiped them out. Why did you not obey the Lord? Why did you pounce on the plunder and do evil in the eyes of the Lord? And then Saul Verse 20, but I did obey the Lord, Saul said. I went on the mission the Lord assigned me. I completely destroyed the Amalekites, and I brought back Agag, their king. The soldiers took sheep and cattle from the plunder, the best of what was devoted to God, in order to sacrifice them to the Lord your God at Gilgal. But Samuel replied, and this should sound a lot like Hosea 6, guys. Does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the voice of the Lord? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is like the sin of divination, and arrogance like the evil of idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you as king. Wow. Wow. His words there. Verse 22. Does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Saul thought he was doing something good. He thought he was doing something by keeping the best to then offer as a sacrifice. But all the while, he's missing the fact that he disobeyed God. He disobeyed God. It doesn't matter. He disobeyed. And that's at the heart of the issue, is our obedience to God. And so we see then in verse 26. But Samuel said to Saul, I will not go back with you. You have rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord has rejected you as king over Israel. Saul was so desperate in pleading for forgiveness and wanting that forgiveness and wanting Samuel to accompany him. And at first Samuel wouldn't even go with him. And then as you go on, verse 27, Samuel turned to leave, and Saul caught hold of the hem of his robe, and it tore. Samuel said to him, the Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today, and has given it to one of your neighbors, to one better than you. He who is the glory of Israel does not lie or change his mind, for he is not a man that he should change his mind. And Saul again pleads with him in verse 30 and says, I have sinned, but please honor me before the elders of my people and before Israel. Come back with me so that I may worship the Lord your God. So Samuel went back with Saul, and Saul worshipped the Lord. Look at what Samuel says in verse 32. Then Samuel said, bring me Agag, king of the Amalekites. Agag came to him confidently, thinking, surely the bitterness of death is past. Right? Get that image in your mind for a minute. Here comes the king thinking, my life has been spared thus far. There's no way they're taking my life now, right? There's no way it's happening now. Walks in there with confidence. And what does Samuel say to him in verse 33? As your sword has made women childless, so will your mother be childless among women. And Samuel put Agag to death before the Lord at Gilgal. Samuel goes in and he finishes the job God wanted done in the first place, doesn't he? Because why? Saul was disobedient. Saul was disobedient. He had a plan in his mind, and he thought in his mind of how it was going to work and the way it was going to go. And all the while, all he had to do was be obedient to the word of the Lord. That's all. He had to be obedient, and he wasn't. And because of that, we see Samuel doing Saul's job for him. Now, for some, that may not seem like a big deal, but for guys, I mean, listen, if you're asked to do something as a guy, sometimes if you can't do it, someone else has to come in, it kind of hurts your pride a little bit as a guy sometimes, doesn't it, man? Like if someone says, like a silly example, someone says, hey, Tim, I can't get this lid off the spaghetti sauce. Can you get it off of me? Yeah, of course I can. You go and you walk over and you get the lid off, right? What if you can't get the lid off? In my house, I'm like, give me one of those little grippy things, and I get the little grippy thing and I try to get it off. And you can't, right? And there's been times like my brother-in-law comes in, he just pops it off. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Right? It hurts your pride a little bit, doesn't it? And here is Saul who didn't do what he was supposed to, and Samuel comes in and cleans up his mess. And Saul just had to be obedient to God. So it was a big deal. And it was an issue that he had to do it. And then in verse 34 and 35, Samuel then begins to have what I call the dead to me attitude towards Saul. Then Samuel left for Ramah, and Saul went up to his home in Gibeah of Saul. Until the day Samuel died, he did not go to see Saul again, though Samuel mourned for him. And the Lord was grieved that he had made Saul king over Israel. God is more worried about our obedience, guys. than he is about anything else. So if you think for a minute that you've got a better plan than God, or that you can please him more by tweaking what he wants, or by twisting it around, don't think that. God's plan is God's plan. Follow what he says to do. And it might be hard, and it might be miserable, and you may not like it, and you may not want to do it. But God's plan is God's plan. And if you receive a word from the Lord to do it, then you should do it. I just want to encourage you that as we start inviting people to come to the church here, as we start getting people to come into the church, I want you to understand that our desire and what we're trying to do is going to be evident, not just to us, but it's also going to be evident to the people that come in the doors. So if we invite people to come for a movie night, and you want your kids to come for a movie night, but you only want your kids to come so that somebody can babysit them for a night and you don't have to worry about it, that's going to be evident to the people around you. That's going to be evident. And if you want to come and be able to talk to other parents, but hope that you don't have to worry about your kids, that's going to be evident. Okay? But if you show up and your desire is to meet someone next to you that you don't know, or your desire is to get your family unit all together and sit in the same place in the sanctuary and sit and watch that movie as a family and talk to families next to you and meet families next to you, it's going to be evident. It's going to be evident. I just want to encourage you, and I want to encourage you and challenge you to look at what your desires are when it comes to your relationship with Christ. What are your desires? What do you want to see happen? Are you content to just blindly follow? Or do you want to genuinely seek him and meet him at a deeper level and increase your interaction with him and your relationship with him? What is your desire? Because that matters to God more than anything else. You could show up tomorrow and you could drop a $25,000 check in the lap of the church and say, here. But if you do it begrudgingly and out of anger and out of just spite because you felt guilted into it or whatever, your heart's not right. God is more concerned about your heart and it being obedient to him and pure before him than he is towards some empty action, guys. And I hope you walk out of here understanding and remembering that. Let your heart be right before God. Let your desire be to serve him and find him and follow him as obediently as you can. Let's pray. God, I thank you for this day. Lord, I thank you for the conversations and the interactions that led to this message today, Lord. You opened up doors for that, and I'm so thankful for it, Lord. Father, I pray that you will use these words, Lord. I've said it so often that before I preach a message, you work on my heart so intensely. And God, you have done just that with this, Lord. And I've tried to be aware of the last few days of where my own heart is, Lord. And if it is in the right place before you, God. Father, I pray we would all walk out of here asking that question today. And I pray that if there are areas that need to change, we would give you the freedom to work on those areas in our lives so that we can better reflect your glory and who you are, Lord. That our love for you will be so evident that it can't help but overflow to the people around us and the people that are in our lives, Lord. Help us to just serve you and follow you and make that the desire of our heart more than anything else. We love you, Lord. We give you praise for all you do. Thank you for this time today. And pray all this now in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. God bless you as you go. Have a wonderful day. If you'd like some goodies out there, feel free to grab some. If you don't have plans after church and you're able to stay and help tear down a little bit, we greatly appreciate that. But God bless you as you go. Have a wonderful